All right, good morning, everybody. It is March 21st, 2024, coming into the day of my webinar. So just want to point out, guys, that I do have a presentation today on the NinjaTrader ecosystem. We'll be at 4:30 Eastern. If you want to sign up, I'll go ahead and put a link in the video description of this YouTube video. And then for anybody else in our chat community, we do have the link out there if you do want to register to attend. We do have some little specials for those that are new to the community. So I'd love to see you guys there today. It'll be just a couple hours from now. So hope to see you there. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump back to yesterday. Now, if you guys recall, yesterday we wanted to see the bears get below 52.33. And if the bears could get below 52.33, that would be our first check mark for the bearish bias that we had from the highs. But if the bears could not get below 52.33, we were then going to consider the opposite side of things. The other thing that we talked about yesterday, obviously almost probably every trading community talked about, is we had FOMC, right? So at 2 p.m. Eastern, we had the FOMC announcement, and then we had all the Fed, the talk after the press conference, I should say. And so I warned you guys that trading yesterday probably wasn't a smart idea. Maybe wait until a half hour after the news event. But let's go ahead and take a look. So as I expected, the whole morning was a total chop fest. There's nothing really sexy to talk about here. In fact, even going into the announcement, it was very choppy and sideways. So in my opinion, it was somewhat of a tricky market to trade. But again, that's what we expected, being that we did have the FOMC announcement that afternoon. So if you look, I mean, there's really nothing to talk about here. We were holding right around the previous daily close. Then they kind of got above the previous daily close, and actually you did get a nice actionable trade right there off VWAP in the previous daily close, but didn't really go anywhere, right? And it just meandered back and forth. And then finally came down right to the exact level that we wanted to see the bears get below, and they held it to the tick. That's one of our new roadmap levels. And then it went ahead and began to try to break out. And the reason I say this was a tricky market was because once we started to hold and actually get somewhat of a stair step up off this first roadmap level, getting up through the previous daily high and holding that level to bounce higher, and then essentially holding our major fib extension level to try ahead and continue to push there. But then it came right back and just petered out and went sideways again. So it was, again, somewhat tricky. You did have little discrete holds off some of these areas for trades, but overall, in my opinion, a little tricky up until we started to come into the FOMC announcement, and then we saw a beautiful hold right around the VWAP here for the continuation higher, and that's where we started to stair step up again. If you look, we held our first roadmap level, we broke out, then we held basically the second roadmap level, not anything sexy to the tick or two, but held there, and then it got back up above the extension level and held from there. And then we got this nice little continuation by the bulls, the relentless bulls here, to push to new all-time highs, right? So they did get through the all-time highs back around 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then, like I said, kind of went a little sideways, making it tricky. And then finally, about half hour after the news, like, what do you know? The market started to get a nice directional push, right? So quite literally within 35 minutes of the news, we then started to get this nice continuation. From there, again, nice pullback to hold the 200 here on the way up. And what do you know? Remember, we've had this roadmap level up here for a long time now. Before the contract rolled over, we had this extension level up here, although it was shifted to a different area because the two contracts are not quite the same levels. But we had this extension level up top here as our expected resistance. And what do you know, yesterday we get a breakout to new all-time highs right after the FOMC announcement, and they come right to it, to the tick. Not even just a little peek through it, not even a tick or two through, a point through, right to it, to the tick, for a pretty significant pullback, right? It wasn't like a major rotation because the bulls were so strong, they just would not give the bears any leeway there to continue to pull it. And then we got the continuation back to the upside. So probably one of the most notable rotations at the end of the day, right off our next expected resistance. And that's why I told you guys, if you were long coming out of the all-time high, you probably want to take profit just in front of these areas in case of this type of scenario happening, right? So nice pullback right off our level, and then right at the end of the day, they tried to pop it on through and pushed it to even more, to even newer all-time highs at the end of the day. That brought us here into our overnight session coming into this morning. And as you can see, right after the Globex open, in fact, just a couple minutes after the Globex open there, they hold the VWAP for the first test, they hold it here for the second test, and then we get this really nice move, about 10-15 points to the upside right off of it there. Great opportunity, pretty much within the first few hours of the Globex session. And now you can see bulls still defending all of these bullish things, holding above 200, the 200 moving average, holding above VWAP, and continuing to try to push to new all-time highs. So we got a brand new all-time high in the overnight session up here, and that's where we are leading into the New York Open here. So let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames, and we'll take a look at what they have to say for this morning.